Yo, welcome to Directly to You. I am AJ of Redirect. I am joined on episode 20, the 5. We're 5 later. We're back on the 5s by Dan Cybert of that Cybert channel, Dan Cybert Live. As far as I know, it's not changing anymore. So you could go to that and it'll be great and fun and interesting.
It is still Dan Cybert Live, Dan Cybert on YouTube. That's the bit.
Oh, it's not that Cybert. See, I lied already.
It hasn't been that way for a while, dude.
You don't post on YouTube. So, like, as far as I know, the last time
I post shorts all the time.
You don't post on YouTube. It's not the same.
It's not this. Okay, well, I'm working on a video.
I know.
It's taking forever.
Yeah, I'm aware. But anyway, completely unrelated to anything that we just said. There's a bunch of Nintendo stuff going on, and it's funny because it's like I keep like a living document of like, all right, here's interesting stuff that's happening throughout the week. Here's what we could talk about. And when I first started this, because I hit you up like over a week ago to be on this show, I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about because I pre-recorded with Fried Biscuits again over a week ago, so I'm like, we talked about everything, and then the first thing that we're going to talk about, the Close to You animation, dropped, and I was like, okay. And then way more stuff happened. But I do want to know initial thoughts. What did you think about that whole thing? Like, I want to know the everything before we knew it was a Pikmin thing. When it first dropped, what were your thoughts?
To me, because we knew that they established Nintendo Pictures. So like this to me, what I saw, I was like, oh, this was an inevitability. Is this sort of like I don't know if they're going to be trying to go for exactly that Pixar thing of trying to get like their little models or like movies and stuff in there. But I thought it was cute as hell. And it felt very much like a Pixar short. And
agreed.
I don't really like comparing it to a Pixar short, but that's the vibe I got.
It's not really the same thing, but yes,
it's not quite.
It's comparable, but it's not. Yeah, like similar. I think so. For me, like my head is that the whole time what I'm thinking, it's not for me. It was never even about like, oh, what game is this and all other kind of stuff. It's like it's in that realm, but it's more so like, okay, what's the purpose for this? What are they doing moving forward? Like, what's the strategy here? Because very clearly, like, it could, like, I believe them that this is just like an experiment. They're doing like a Pikmin thing. It's not about no game, blah blah blah, whatever, all that other kind of crap. It's just them flexing their muscle for their animation studio. But them doing it in this specific way says to me that their marketing is going to change. And it tells me that they're going to lean into like even more, because they do it sparingly. ARG kind of like spot the difference, kind of like what's going on. What is this? They're laying little hints before they fully reveal it. It's a Pikmin thing, even though, again, like if we take them at their word, it's just them flexing their muscles.
Like theory bait. We're
exactly.
It's trying to get the theorists out there to start speculating on what this could possibly do. And it did. I mean, like my entire Twitter timeline was just like, what is this? I mean, everyone pretty quickly went like, it's Pikmin.
Yeah, because the music cue. That was like the thing that told me, at least. Yeah. And then there was like the other things in the background, all that kind of crap. But the music was the most obvious part. And
I think it was just I agree with you. It is them flexing their muscle. It's them kind of like launching a soft proof of concept that they can tell stories through a different medium than just games. Like they're trying to set themselves up so where they might not need to, get with a different studio to make their Mario movie. They can just make it.
Exactly.
They don't need it. Like they don't need another studio. They're just going to do it.
Yeah.
And this is a step in that direction.
It feels very Marvel Studios to me, where like initially they had to get in bed with like Fox, they had to get in bed with Paramount, and then slowly but surely they founded their own studio where they can internally work on all of these things. That's what this feels like to me, where it's like they partnered up with Universal for the Mario movie and Sony for the Zelda movie. But eventually, I think that they want everything to be Nintendo Pictures moving
Yeah,
forward.
they don't. And like, I get it. Do you really want to share revenue with another studio when you could just do it yourself?
Yeah.
Um, like it's a great proof of concept. I think it was very smartly done. I think it's super cute, and it just kind of points that we should be seeing more of this. I don't know if it's the exact number that they wanted to see internally. That's the only question mark I would have.
What do you mean?
Like, what were their metrics to determine if it was successful? Because like on Twitter, 16.5 million views, 9.2k reposts, 42k likes. That's pretty good.
But you also got to take into account like they're also tracking like other instances of the tweet, like other people retweeting it and doing that whole thing. They're also looking at articles. They also have the Nintendo Today upload and like other social media platforms that I'm sure they're tracking. So it's probably like a lot more than what we see from the Twitter thing.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree.
And there is like also the multiple versions of it, or it was like the two versions of it where we have the pre-reveal that it's like the pre like hard launch of like it's a Pikmin game. We have that and all those metrics, and then what the metrics are post Pikmin reveal.
Yeah.
So like I'd be interested to see. I mean, we'll probably never know, but it feels like a furthering of like Smash trailers. It feels like that. How in Smash Brothers they always had that like bargaining chip when doing a Nintendo Direct. That always had the potential to make a Nintendo Direct instantly at least a B. All you needed was a pretty hype Smash reveal, even though it all is funneled towards one game with one character that you may or may not like play yourself, but it still had this instant potential to be like, all right, this is pretty cool. That's hype, blah, blah, blah. Cause the zeitgeist and talking about it with everybody and doing all that. No other game that Nintendo has had that, and now with them having this studio, it feels like it's easier for them to greenlight something like that for more of their properties to get the conversation going, because they don't have to go outside and hire contractors and all this other kind of crap.
Yeah. I think we should be expecting to see a lot more, and probably within, I don't know, somewhere 5 to 7 years, we should probably see like a full Nintendo Pictures thing if it keeps up this. I don't want to say too soon because they still do have a lot of studio deals.
Right.
But yeah, I think within the decade, I think you would see something way bigger from Nintendo Pictures. They're probably working on it right now.
I think what's going to end up happening and how it's going to materialize for us in the immediate future is like, we'll see more of the like Death Stranding 2's situation where when they were still Dynamo, they had contracts with outside companies that have nothing to do with Nintendo. We'll see their projects, but I also think we'll start to see them being used in internal games more often. And then from there, it'll be fully blown out into like being used in just not just film, but mostly film within the next like 10 years would be my guess.
Smash promos are going to be crazy this time around.
They're going to be nuts, man. And also, like the production values on the next Metroid game that's not Prime 4, Metroid Prime 5, that's going to go nuts.
It's going to go hard, dude.
That's going to be crazy. But I did want to note, I touched on it a little bit, but I did want to point out some of the other things that they've worked on that we know. They worked on Persona 5. Which is something that I hear a lot of people talk about. They like the aesthetics of that. Them doing work on that game is a good sign. I already mentioned Death Stranding, Monster Hunter Stories on the 3DS. They worked on that one, the first game. Devil's Third, which people did not like.
Yeah,
I know one person that likes that game. That's it. They worked on Metroid Other M. They worked on that game. And then apparently they worked on Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Wonder and Mario RPG, the remake of Super
the
Mario
remake.
RPG,
Yeah.
and then another code, Recollection.
Okay.
It's pretty solid resume, man. Pretty solid.
Yeah,
resume.
it looks good. Here's other M's such a weird thing, but like the cinematics were done well.
I was about to say that part, like their involvement, they did a very good job.
Yeah, they did a great job with what they had. I will give them that.
Agreed. I did also want to bring up, this is something that happened a while ago, and I did a community post about it, but they also restructured a pre-existing company that they had, a joint venture that they had with HAL Laboratories called, it was Warp Star at the time, but they re-established it as Nintendo Stars, which... It sounds like they're wanting to do the same thing that they did when they founded that company, which that was primarily for Kirby Right Back at You, but for everything. So you might see a return of more Nintendo branded crossover animations and all the other kind of stuff, like Pokemon anime, Kirby Right Back at You, F-Zero, like that era, but more and with more of their IP. So on top of film, on top of the Mario movie and Zelda that we know so far, we could very well see more of their property being used in animation long term.
I mean, Kirby is a great game or like a great franchise for that sort of, it's not serialized, like syndicated type show where it's just like everything gets reset. It's just good. It's good, simple, clean, where you don't need to tell this huge overarching story with Kirby.
Right. And they did little previews and stuff like that in the 3DS era, where I was like so many of those things. Like they did it with Kid Icarus. That would have been sick if they just turned that into a show. That whole dynamic and their like how Pit interacts with Palutena and all that kind of stuff. That would have made a great show. And that kind of style.
I think a Kid Icarus show could do a lot of good for that franchise.
I agree. Have you played Uprising?
I've watched a couple playthroughs of it.
Okay, gotcha.
For research purposes, but like I never actually got a chance to play it, and
the controls.
I'm a little daunted by the fact that
the controls are bad. Don't play it.
Yeah, the controls are bad.
Yeah, controls are bad.
If I can find a way if I can find a way to play it with a better control scheme through methods, then I might give it a shot.
Just wait till it gets ported in one way or another, because it sounds like Sakurai wants that to happen.
I feel like I'm gonna be waiting a long time, dude.
I don't know if you're waiting that long. It doesn't sound like that based on Sakurai. That brother sounds like that's not too far removed from what's gonna happen. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, game's good. I like the game. I think that a big part of what's good about the game is that the characters and how they're written and all that stuff. And they could very easily take that out of that game and put it in an animated series, and I would be there. I'd be watching that. And then they also did it with Pikmin. I don't know how much I want a Pikmin show. It's good for shorts. It's good for interstitials and that kind of thing. But I don't know if I want a whole show of Pikmin.
I don't know what you could possibly do. I mean, yet there's not that there's no story to go with. It's just it would be so strange for, like, it works really good in a short film sort of aspect like this.
Yeah. Especially if the Pikmin are the focus of the thing. Like you could you could more easily make a show around like the captains. I think that would be pretty easy, but I don't think people care about them as much.
No, they really are just the vehicle to hang out with the Pikmin, and even then, I don't know. When I was playing through 4, there wasn't a specific like captain or crew member that I was like, oh man, this guy, I get this guy. I fundamentally relate to this dude.
Yeah, I agree. And there's other IP that they could, and there's always the potential for like what Smash Brothers did for like Captain Falcon and even like Star Fox and them to a degree, where it fleshes them out. Like before it was like F-Zero, Captain Falcon is just a dude in a car. And then
he is just a dude in a car.
From there, it's like he got Falcon Punch, and then they built who he is around that interpretation of that character into the anime. And that then, snowballed into more. I think that they could very easily do that with a lot of different IP, both dormant and otherwise. Like they could do a lot of different stuff with Mario. We could get Captain
Yeah.
Toad and give that brother a whole series. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. They could pick like a random enemy archetype in Mario and flesh them out into a full character and make that a series or whatever. Like they have a lot of potential there, I think. Especially if the end game is them doing like their own owned platform, like if it's like a Netflix kind of situation, I could definitely see them take advantage of that and making a lot of series using a lot of different aspects of their IP and not just like the more straightforward, it's the Metroid show and the Mario show and the, so on and so forth.
You think they're on platform like Netflix?
I think so. I think so. I think if they're getting into animation in the same way that film and animation, in the same way that they want to own all parts of the production of the movie itself, or the way that we assume that they do, I assume that they want to own all parts of the distribution as well, or as many of the parts that they can.
Yeah, I could see that. They would have to make a ton more content to make a streaming service that someone would want to do it. Like I get that there's going to be people going like, oh, the only way for me to watch the Mario movies through the Nintendo service. Well, I guess I'll get it for a month and then quit. Disney Plus works because it then acquired like Hulu and Fox and like all this other stuff that allows them to have more than just, Disney movies.
Yeah. But also, I mean, people were buying Disney Plus before it was that, like now it has everything and you don't got to go on the other platforms and all that other stuff. But people are buying Disney Plus to watch Disney stuff when Disney Plus first became a thing.
Well, sure, when it first came out.
Yeah. Now, and it's what? Double the price. They added all that other stuff and they increased the price as a byproduct. I think that it really just depends on how they view it. Because in my head, it's additional incentive for their own platform already. It's them being like, oh, instead of them being like, here's this separate subscription service, it's like, oh, you got Nintendo Switch Online. And right now it's a maximum of $80 a year if you get the family plan. Now it's for the family plan, it's double that. And they add a lot more to it. You know what I mean? Like I could see a world where they do that. Not them having separate subscriptions.
No, yeah. I think, you bundle it.
Yeah.
You bundle it with the Switch Online just as like an extra, incentive to have it.
Yeah.
And then he gives you the option of, like you said, up the price. Now people are paying more.
Which that's an exaggeration. I don't think they'll do that to that degree. I think that a lot of people, their head immediately goes there when thinking about the future of Nintendo. But like, that's very like westernized thinking. And I don't think they operate like that.
Here's the thing: is I don't think it will like double, but
I do
think it will go up.
Yeah, it will definitely go up.
Like an additional $10 or
at
so.
At least. I think that bare minimum, their pricing will eventually meet the standard when Switch Online started, because it's still under that. Like the standard was $10 a month. It was, you're paying $10 a month for Xbox Live, and that's all you get, really. Like, eventually it became like you get Xbox Live for $10 a month, and you get a free game that you keep as long as you keep the subscription or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But now, fast forward, they're changing that, and the incentive is now like Game Pass. It's all the other stuff, and the paying to play games online is really just the gotcha. It's the thing that people complain about. That is the thing. It's no longer able to be like, well, if you want to play online, you got to do this. People are like, I don't want to have to pay to play online. But with Nintendo Switch, it's like the incentive is, well, you get access to this library of video game. I mean, it's the Disney Plus, but just with Nintendo's games and not with visual media, or solely visual, I guess.
Well, I think when you have something like Steam that has been making it possible to play games online with people for free for a long time, and then you're looking at everywhere else going like, why do I have to pay for this? That's where it starts to get, that's where the frustration's really starting to build up, is that some services, you just don't need it. You don't need to pay to play online.
Right. I mean, that's definitely true. But I think that a lot of people get lost in the weeds of like, that doesn't apply to everybody. Like the experience that most people are going to get, if you leave it up to them and being like, you don't have to pay online to play Steam, they're going to have a worse experience. They just are. And I know that because I'm in the weeds. I know how tech works. I know how PC and all the other kind of crap works. And I get frustrated. I don't want to deal with it. So I know that people like my sister, she's not thinking about like, oh, well, you have a PC and you have a computer and you can emulate this game and you could like use Steam, or you could play this like third party or indie variant of the thing that you grew up with. She just wants to play Super Mario World, and she's down to pay $80 a month, or I mean, not a month, a year to do it, you know? And I think that that's how a lot of people operate, where it's like, just, I'll give you $10, make the problem go away.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's just easier to throw a little bit of money to make the problem disappear.
Yeah. But I don't know. That all could be wrong. They could very well be like, nah, we're not trying to do all that. We're going to stay with Universal and they're going to make our movies and blah, blah, blah. But I kind of doubt it.
I doubt it. I think they're going to want to get on their own as quickly as possible. And maybe like they'll have to use Universal for distributing. But, you know, like you said, there's a chance they'll want to try to claim that too.
Yeah. The moment that they made their own Spotify, I was like, yeah, the writing's on the wall. I'm like, yeah. And they did that. They did that even. Like what I was talking about in terms of like bundling it with Switch Online. And they didn't increase the price of that yet, if they're going to. But they did the Nintendo Music app, and that's a Switch Online user incentive. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what they do. And I don't know how, like, if they will be able to, like, because they have a back catalog to some degree, like if they're able to like rope in Pokemon, that's huge. If they're able to say you can watch all of Pokemon on our subscription service, that's a W.
Yeah, that would be,
because right now you can't do that anywhere. There's no easy place to watch all of Pokemon.
It's all over the place. You could watch most of Kanto through like Netflix, and then you got to go to another service to get the rest of it.
Yeah,
silly.
You got to go all over the place. I've been saying, Trav has been bringing this up a lot. And they're like, they have like the Pluto TV partnerships and stuff like that, where like in a roundabout way they have access to it. But if they have a platform where you could just be like, I want to watch from episode 1 to episode 1122 or whatever, all here, then I think that in and of itself is a W. And then on top of that, you know, they got the Kirby Right Back At You, they got F-Zero, they got all their other like vintage, like the Mario Super Show, and the freaking like what was the other one that had like a hodgepodge of all their people? It had like
like Captain N or whatever.
Yeah. They got Donkey Kong. They have a lot of like legacy content already. I think it's obviously nowhere near Disney, but
yeah, Captain N had Mega Man too, though, didn't it? And Castlevania, that might be a little tougher.
I mean, if they can get those IP in game form, where that's their bread and butter on their platform, I don't know if Capcom is gonna like bar them from using it for something, you know, like.
No, at this point in time, Capcom would rather put Mega Man in everyone else's game than just make the game.
Yeah, that's where all I had that. I think that they do kind of operate in the way that fans wish that Nintendo specifically did, where it's like, we're not using it. Sure, you can use it. Nintendo doesn't do that because they're like, we might actually use it. So no, you can't.
Yeah, no. Well, we're going to do something with it. Just wait.
Yeah, just wait. We'll get to it eventually. Shut up.
We just need a minute. God. Get out of my room.
On the topic of third parties, I think that's a decent segue.
That's a great segue.
There's a lot of third party stuff that's happening that may or may not become official soon in the near future. Starting with, I think this is, well, I mean, technically the best bet is the one that we know for sure. So I'll start with freaking Avatar Legends, the fighting game, which is a terrible title. I hate it. That was confirmed.
It's not great.
At Evo France, they announced our Avatar fighting game, and at first when I saw this, I was like, cool in theory, in practice probably going to suck, because that's Avatar games just in general. I don't think a good Avatar The Last Airbender game has ever happened.
Yeah, they don't have a great track record, but like the gameplay doesn't look terrible.
So I'll add, I did a little digging after I saw this announcement, because I like it. I want to like it. And the team that made this made another fighting game that's pretty big in the FGC community. And I don't mean like success wise. I don't mean like it's a huge seller, but people like it and it's mechanically good. It's called Fighting Herds. It's a horse fighting video game. It's like my Little Pony.
No, hold on, I've heard of this.
And apparently this game's really good. I hear good things about it mechanically. So I at least have faith in them being able to deliver a game that mechanically is good to play.
I remember this. I remember looking this up and going, what am I looking at here?
Yes. That said, I would not be surprised if this game ends up flopping, because I think a lot of times, especially in recent memory, there's a lot of games that try to align, and Nickelodeon, I think, is they're a very close, I mean, a very easy example to point at for this, because they did it with Nick All-Star Brawl. They are quick to align themselves with like fan favorites in this kind of way, where like there's a cult classic that is like, this game's really good and gamers really love it. And in this regard, competitive fans love it a lot. But the thing about these smaller games is they're small for a reason, and it's not just because they're indie. It's they don't understand that the reason why like most esports are esports is because they were compelling games casually first. Like Smash Brothers was able to become a big competitive thing because most people started playing the video game just mashing the controller, including myself. I too picked Ganondorf and just hit people with big attack and watched them die until 25 years later. And then I'm like, oh, okay, you can actually, like, there's thought to this. Like, you can get good at it. Like, there's like depth. You know, but what gets you in the door?
He's cracked at the game now.
What gets you in the door is that it just is a good game that has, like, you know, solid design for casuals. It has characters that look good. It feels fluid. There's production value. All that stuff matters arguably more than that side of it. Like, I rather a game be not intentionally tuned for competitive play and be good at all of the other things than for the inverse. And that's usually the problem with these teams specifically, is they don't understand that part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same idea with like speed running too, right?
Yeah.
Like the games that get sped run are the games that people like playing. So they like to be in that environment for longer periods of time. Not a ton of people are like wanting to spend any more time in Bubsy 3D than they already have.
Yeah. Yes.
They went there by mistake. They went, whoops, I want out.
I think that there's just the like insert. Well, it's a Nintendo meme. The Nintendo hire this man. Those games. There's a reason why that man doesn't have a job. You know what I mean? Like. If you leave your fans up to make the video game, it's gonna be bad, especially when it's the type of people on the internet that are like, the game sucks and I hate it, and they should do what I and only I like, because that will be good, you know, without any regard for anybody else for any kind of reason.
Well, it's a big thing about like being like a creative, is you have to think about not just what you like, you have to think about what you like and how other people might like it as well, and then adjust. Like, there's a reason why
I'm big on that. Like, obviously I talk about like, I think this game would be good if they did X, Y, and Z, but I never come from a place of like, I know more than the game designer. I'm just like, yo, as a fan of this thing that is engaged with fans and from all spectrums, I know super hardcore fans, I know super casual fans. I'm somewhere in the middle of that all the time. I'm never like all the way on the hardcore side. I'm never all the way on the casual side. I vary. So for me, it's usually like I want them to synthesize all of this. I want it to be something that is interesting for the person that's not going to dump 1,000 hours into it. But also, if it's the kind of game that you can dump 1,000 hours into, it should be able to naturally facilitate that. But usually with these kind of fans, what they do is like, I competitive fan. I don't care about this part of game, this part of game, this part of game. Take it out. Make competitive fun. Period.
Yeah. Also, I'm going like frame by frame on some of these animations in the trailer. I'm pretty bad.
Yeah. It's not Dragon Ball Fighters at all. It is definitely not honestly, Dragon Ball Fighters.
They would have had a lot more success had they done something similar to that, where they had like these faux 3D models.
Yeah.
To do these animations, because like, oh, it just does not look quite like the fighting animations. Clearly, where they spent most of their time, but like these little other like combo or like special move animations, they're just a bit rough.
I mean, it's coming out summer 2026, so they got time.
Yeah, they got time.
They got time. They can look way better than that. Do I think that that's going to happen? No.
No.
But I think that this is a game that I'll definitely play, and it'll last for like a month, and that's it. And the thing that's like kind of sad that like this is the kind of game that it is because every person that I could think of that I would want to play this game with, or like want to play this game with because it's an Avatar game, would not play this game because of the fact that it is the like I want to hit up youth and be like, oh, new Avatar game. But she's not gonna play this. So like,
nah.
She's absolutely not playing this. But you know, maybe I'll have fun. And Lee likes Avatar. We'll play this.
Hey, there you go.
But again, that's going to last like a week. Oh, Mars also likes it. It's going to Mars likes it. It's going to last a month. We're going to play this game. We're going to get really good at it, and then never touch it again after a month. But that first month is going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm just not going to touch it. That's that.
Yo, what if it's $20?
No.
What if there's a Steam sale and it's $5?
Maybe.
That's not how my brain works at all. I'm not touching it for. If I'm not touching it for 50, I'm not touching it for 5. I'm not gonna lie. But there is Assassin's Creed Shadow. Assassin's Creed Shadows for Nintendo Switch 2. It's rated. It's been rated online for the Nintendo Switch 2. Apparently, it's a game key card. So, like, some people, they're gonna be like, I don't want that. Me, I don't care because I'm downloading it anyway. I'll check it out. I'm down. I'll play it.
I have not touched the Assassin's Creed games like at all.
You know the last time I played an Assassin's Creed game? Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U. And it was for a similar reason.
Wii U?
Yes. Because it's the thing where it's like, normally I wouldn't play this, but I got this new thing and I want to play with this new thing, and it's new game on new thing. And also it's the kind of game that you normally wouldn't get on a Nintendo platform. So I want to see how it worked. And it was pretty good. I liked Assassin's Creed 3. The only thing I didn't like about Assassin's Creed 3 was the naval stuff. I hated that. And then they made a whole pirate game, and I was like, "Welp them out."
Well, apparently the pirate game, like the ship fighting, was way better in that one.
People liked it. I did not.
All right, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And that was the one thing about Assassin's Creed 3. There was a lot of those moments where I was like, yo, they got, it's like Native Americans, like that whole thing. That looks cool. You're doing like the Naruto tree jumping situation. I'm gonna do that. It looks sick. And then I played a game, and the first thing that you are is this freaking British dude. And I'm like, I want to be the guy on the box. I don't care about this British dude.
Yeah, I don't want to be this dude.
But other than that, game's pretty cool. I liked it every time they let me be the guy on the box. So I'm down. I'm down for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm mad at them for canceling the Civil War game, but what are you gonna do? This is as close as we're gonna get, probably.
Yeah, it's as close as you're gonna get.
So I'll check it out. I'm down. I mean, I recently got added to the Ubisoft Creators Program, and they be sending me all these campaigns, and I'm like, not on Switch, don't care. Not on Switch, don't care. Yeah. This is on Switch. And now
you're like,
so I'm down.
Yeah, that's on Switch. Yeah. Hey, give it to me. Hey, what you doing there, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. I'm down, man. So hopefully I get it that way. But even if I don't, I'll probably cop this. Especially, I mean, well, you know what? It's a December game. That was the other thing I need to mention. It's coming out December, and that's Metroid time. So like,
ooh, yeah, you're gonna be doing that.
And then, like, even that. So like, if we look at the timeline, I think it's like December 4th. They said the date is tentatively on this. Mm-hmm. When does Metroid come out? Isn't that December 4th also, or is it?
Metroid.
It's like within the first 2 weeks of December.
Yeah, it's pretty quick out there.
But I'm gonna be fresh off of Kirby, if not still actively playing that, because obviously, like, that's not a narrative game. It's like Smash Brothers, but Kirby and racing. So I'll probably still be playing that. 4th. Yeah, so like, and that's on the 20th. Thank the Lord that I don't care about the Zelda game, about Hyrule Warriors. Good thing I hate that game.
Yep.
Because I would be inundated with things to do. And I'm still, most likely, I'm still going to be playing Legends ZA. Assuming that is good. It's looking good, which we will get to.
Dude, this year was just, it was great for gaming.
There's too much stuff.
There's too much good stuff.
I still never finished Silk Song or got anywhere close. And then I started playing Hades. I'm nowhere near done playing that. Or I'm probably done. I don't know if I'm done playing it, but I'm not done. I didn't beat them. I didn't do the thing. But there's too much stuff.
There's too much stuff. There's just too much stuff. I decided to start Final Fantasy Tactics Remake. That's going to be a whole ass thing. Monster Hunter had a new update that I really want to do. That's going to be a whole thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's so many games to play. I just don't understand the sentiment.
I might just need to they might just need to not release stuff in 2026 so I could just catch up.
No, I want them to release stuff. But release stuff like, give me 2 months. Release a big game that I care about every 2 months, and I'm happy.
Yeah, and studios, we're going to need you all to abide by this. So you got to pick which months you're going to decide to drop something.
Exactly. Right? Coordinate that.
Coordinate, please.
Yeah, definitely coordinate, because I could do like a smaller, like I could do like an indie and a big AAA. I could do that. I could juggle that. Give me one of those every other month, and I'm down. But the like big game every month, some of which, multiple of them in the same month, I'm good off that. This month has been ridiculous. This month alone is crazy. I wanted to play Yooka-Laylee, and that's not even an option right now. So like, because I crowdfunded the original game, and I started playing it. I was like, this game kind of sucks. Because it's not like, yo, remember N64 games? What if like we made one of those, but it felt like a game that was made now? It was just like, yo, remember N64 games? Here's an N64 game that doesn't really look like an N64 game. And apparently Yooka-Laylee is closer to that. Yo, it plays more like a modern 3D platformer. But
good. Because I remember I funded it too. And when I got the game and started playing, I was just like, this just kind of feels like, why am I not just going and playing like Banjo or Mario 64 right now? Yeah, I'm just like, I get the attempt. I like it. It's not what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, I needed the Mario Odyssey version of that, where it was just like, I mean, you get the vibes. All I want from this is the vibes of that. I don't need the actual like game design, because that did not age well. I'm good off that. But I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get, I want to say, like, that's why I don't subscribe to the idea of backlogs, because I know me. I know that I'm not going to do that. It's not happening. I tried my hardest, and the lead up to this video game, to Pokemon Legends EA specifically, I was like, yo, I'm gonna play Arceus. I gotta like revisit it and like see if I feel differently and playing this game because I don't like it. And my attempt to do that just made me hate the game more. I just disliked the game even more than I did before that. And that wasn't the goal. That wasn't supposed to happen.
That's why I when I finish a game, I just kind of like float for a minute and I go, all right, what am I feeling right now? And then like sometimes it's for whatever reason, I need to go play like a bunch of competitive. I need to go jump into Marvel Rivals for like 2 weeks and just like get mad, and then and then I'll be like, all right, now I'm ready for a slow, nice like tactics game, or hey, I'm ready to take on Hades 2 finally. Which God, that's now on my list. It's like I don't have game, like,
but I don't have.
Yeah, I don't have like a backlog. It's just I still have. It's like I have a backlog, but I don't have a backlog. I don't have like a list of things that I want to do. I'm just like, I have a bunch of stuff, and one of these things I'm going to pick. We'll find out.
The closest thing I have to a backlog is like what things I want to make videos about, and that's it.
Sure.
It's like I wanted to make the retrospective series with Pokemon, so technically all the Pokemon games were in my backlog. I had to replay those. But it wasn't like purely personal, I want to play this because it's fun. If it was purely because it's fun and I want to play this, I would have not played half of them, at least. Yeah.
I would have skipped a few.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the closest I get to a backlog, is out of obligation. Which, to be fair, is my fault. You know, it's like obligation that came out of like me talking about a thing that I want to talk about, and then building an audience based off of that, and then feeling like I need to be accountable to them, and in the regard that like I say this thing about this thing, and I want people to have well-sourced opinions. So I'm walking where I'm talking. My opinions, I want them to be well-sourced. If I say that something's not good, I want to be able to tell you based off of my experience of playing it, and not this game of telephone that happens in everybody's heads for better or worse, whether they like the game or they hate the game.
I just had to finish replaying, mostly because all of the game footage I got was terrible, and like terrible bit rate. I don't know what I was on when I recorded those, so I had to go back and I replayed through Dark Ages, and that I definitely like the
game more or less.
I did like the game more when I finished, but I was also like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want this to be done. I've already done this year. I don't need to do this again.
I mean, that was a big part of it for me for Arceus, where it's like a lot of it, and like I'm scared that this is going to happen with the new game with ZA. It's like so much of it is just talking. They just be talking, and I don't care anymore. Like initially when I first played it, that wasn't a complaint, because in the moment it's like, oh man, you're back in Sinnoh, and like I'm learning about the world and how it was before all of the things, and it's like now I know all of that, so all of that doesn't matter to me anymore, right? And then you peel all that away, and it's like, well, that was half of the value of the game. It's like, is that first playthrough? And I think that's like there's value to that, but I think to me, and why I think that, and we'll get to this in the Pokemon section, but for like games like that, if you are going to get a lot of replayability out of the game, it needs to be out of your save of the game. It shouldn't be the expectation that like you're going to replay this game, because the way that the game is designed makes you not like the replay as much, unless you're like particularly nostalgic or you replay it 10 years later or whatever. And I'm not doing either of that. I'm not particularly nostalgic, and I have no intention to play this game 10 years from now.
Fair.
Was that the last third-party thing? I think there might have been another third-party game. Avatar.
It was Battlefield 6.
Oh yeah, Battlefield 6. There's a survey that EA is doing right now. They're like, yo, y'all want Battlefield 6? Me personally, no. I'm good off it. I don't need Battlefield 6. Y'all can keep that. But like,
I'll talk. If I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna play it on PC. That's it.
Yeah. We know, Dan. I was talking to Colin about this, about the Resident Evil thing, because you were like, you shouldn't play it on that. And then people got the demos and they're like, yo, this game looks great. And I'm like, yo, that's what I said. I was like, so I'm the opposite. If I ever were to play Battlefield, it would be because it was on Nintendo Switch 2. But
yeah, I know, because that's where you play everything.
Exactly. You got to do a lot for me to want to play it anywhere else. It has to be a game that like I couldn't feasibly play on Nintendo Switch 2, and the only real reason why I wouldn't feasibly be able to do that is because it's owned by a company that refuses to publish there. Like a PlayStation. Like I'll play the freaking next Banjo Kazooie game if Xbox makes it Xbox exclusive or whatever. But if I could play it on Switch 2, that's where I would have played it.
Yeah.
More often than that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like I don't really care too much about Call of Duty and Battlefield anymore. Like 10 years ago would be.
You have a Call of Duty phase?
I had a Call of Duty phase. Like
guess what the last Call of Duty game that I purchased was? Damn. Guess.
Modern Warfare 2 original.
No, that's what I bought was Black Ops 2 or was it the Nintendo Switch? I mean, the Nintendo Wii U. Yeah, it was the same thing because it was a launch game. And I was like I literally only bought it because and it was ironic because I didn't buy Mario. I didn't buy the new Super Mario Bros. Because even then I was tired of the new Super Mario Bros. Crap. I was like, I'm over this. Y'all did this 3 times already. I don't need it again. So then I eventually ended up buying it because everything I bought for my Wii U was a rated M game. I bought Assassin's Creed, I bought Black Ops, I bought Zombie U. I'm like, every game that I'm playing is the same like gray and brown like kill people video game.
Oh my god, right?
Every single video game. So I was like, I gotta get Mario because like I need something that's not that. But yeah, no, I bought Black Ops 2, and that's the last one, the last and only Call of Duty game I ever purchased in my life.
I think Black Ops 2 was, I mean, excluding when we recently bought Black Ops 3s just so we can go play like the Call of Duty Zombies again. Like that was the last one that I got and played for the entire package, not just the one tiny little sliver that I wanted.
I really just played the level on the boat. And the
level on the boat.
Yeah, the not single player. It was a multiplayer one. It was on the boat. I like that map. And then Nuketown. I like that map.
you gotta like Nuketown, man.
I like Nuketown. But I already committed. I'm gonna at least buy one Call of Duty game on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm gonna try to #get good. I'm gonna get my Call of Duty streamer friends to teach me how to play Call of Duty, and I'm making a video.
You're gonna do Black Ops 7.
Whatever the game is that comes to Nintendo Switch 2, that's when I'm doing it.
Yeah, all right.
So whatever that is, I'm there. I'm going to do it. After that, probably not. Probably never again. I'll probably never purchase another Call of Duty ever again in my life.
One and done. You don't need to do it again.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I think that's it for third-party games. I think we're done. I think we're done with that.
Yeah, that's all of them.
So the first party stuff. The next big first party game is Pokemon Legends EA. There's reviews, man. And these reviews are all over the place, and I'm happy about that. I am ecstatic about that. That's the thing. This has like I've already like progressively everything I've learned about this game has made me more interested in this game, because initially, I don't know if I talked to you about this, but when they revealed Pokemon Legends, I was angry. I did not want this game at all. Because I don't like the Legends thing. I don't like it being a series. Because to me, that feels like they're diverting resources, and it also feels like they're delegating, or not delegating. They're diminishing the version of Pokemon that I think should be the main thing as a side thing.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And for that reason, I'm like, this is whack. Because like when I finished playing Arceus, I felt the way that I felt. I was like, this game's not great for X, Y, and Z reasons. But, you know, it's still cool because it's a proof of concept thing. And hopefully it's like Pokemon Let's Go, where ultimately, like, it's not this sub-series. It's something that contributed to the vision of the series overall. Right? So when I'm first seeing ZA, I'm like, I don't want this because, I don't want it to be the same thing for the various reasons that I didn't like Arceus. That part of it, that got slashed. They were like, it's not the same thing. It's not in the past anymore. There's trainer battles. In fact, that's the core focus of the video game. And not just that, there's real-time combat. And I was like, okay, you got me. I'm interested now. I'm intrigued. I'm still not like this game, I'm gonna like it particularly in anything like that. But then on top of that, they said, yo, it has online multiplayer. It's a competitive mode. And I'm like, all right, hold on. This game might this might actually be an all-timer for me. But in addition to that, something that we'll get to, the way that I thought that they viewed the franchise, turns out they don't seem to view the franchise like that. And it is more additive. It is this snowballing effect that I've always wanted for them to do if they did. Because like in a perfect world, I don't want them to ever do spinoffs in a perfect world. Maybe like when they become the franchise that I think that they should be, given their stature as biggest IP in world, that whole thing. Maybe when you're that big, you can be like, all right, Pokemon Cart or whatever, right? But for right now, y'all don't even make good mainline games. Get that together first, right? But
perfect what you're known for first before you start like spinning off and trying new things.
Exactly. But if we do gotta have spinoffs, my head is that if you're doing spinoffs, they need to be, Rockstar Tennis. It needs to be like, that has to be found somewhere in your main thing. It needs to contribute to the main thing somehow. And that's what it looks like they're doing with ZA. And all these reviews from different outlets and stuff like that, all the ones that are like bad are like on the lower end, all cite reasons that I like actively disliked about the games that they're saying that this game isn't as good as. Like,
really,
a lot of the reviews that are like, this game's not great because it's not as good as Arceus, and I'm like, good. Like, they're like, oh, this game doesn't focus on this this aspect, or this game is too different from the Pokemon that I like, and I'm like, great. Love that.
But even then it's like, it's a spin-off, so like
yes. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of the reviews, the gist of them. Hold on, let me go on here because I think they like pulled blurbs of like stuff that they said. Where's the?
Yeah, there's a few things. A lot of people are saying really good things about the combat.
Yeah,
that's the through line, which is really good to hear.
Which is surprising to me because you know what, the IGN review. Review in progress, I found it baffling because they like kind of contradict themselves because they're like, yo, the best part of this game is the combat. I hope it doesn't stay. It's like, I don't want every game to be like this, but the combat is the best part of this game. And I'm like, that's stupid. And like, I think
that's okay. Wild.
And also it's like people will make the like in the reviews, the gist of it will be like the worst part of playing through a Pokemon game is like playing the actual game. That said, I hope that this doesn't become the new norm. And I'm like, why? That doesn't make any sense. You should want the game to actively be fun. I don't know anybody, whether they fight for Pokemon to stay the way that it does or not. I don't know anybody that's like, yo, the core gameplay loop of Pokemon is fun. I don't know a single person that's like that. Even the VGC fans.
Just one IGN reviewer would argue against that.
Even the IGN reviewer said in their review that they don't really like playing through the campaign.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Most of these people rush through the campaigns. Most of these people are like I don't know if you've heard this explanation from me before, but I give it a lot. The roundabout experience of Pokemon is fun. Like the reason why Bob crashed out on me, he got mad on the podcast where he was like, why do you play this game if you don't like it? The roundabout experience of like the team building and the world and all that kind of stuff, the trading with your friends and all that crap, that is fun in a roundabout cerebral kind of way. I want Pokemon to be fun in a bounce ball kind of way, roller coaster, clapping monkey kind of fun, and this
wait, clapping monkey,
like monkey brain, like,
oh, you want monkey? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about, dude?
Like, just, you don't have to convince yourself that it's fun in a roundabout way. I think a lot of games like this, a lot of RPGs, they're fun in a cerebral way. You got to kind of like talk your way, even if you're not talking yourself into it actively, you got to talk other people into why you think it's fun. When I show somebody freaking Super Mario World, I don't got to explain to them why it's fun, because you can look at the game.
No, it's Super Mario World.
Exactly. That's what it is with Pokemon. It's like I want to be able to look at it and be like, this game is fun, and look at it. You could tell it's fun. Look at it. You know what I mean? This game, I think it's closer. All that said, I'm not convinced that it's there yet. I don't think it is. I don't think this battle system is necessarily something that is, you look at it and it's automatically something that anybody would be able to view as fun. I haven't played it yet, so I can't say that for sure. But just based off what I've seen, it looks too frictionless in a way.
I mean, I have had absolutely like minimum amount of interest in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, Pokemon, I was just like, I can't do it anymore. After Sword and Shield, I was like, I can't do another one of these. I just simply can't. I am not engaged. I feel like I'm the combat is slowing me down. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then like I didn't do Scarlet. I barely touched Arceus. Like I played a little bit. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Anyway, moved on. And once this came out and I saw it, I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. It looks fun. It's still not for me. It is still not enough to get me to hop in on this, but hey, at least it looks like it's moving in a positive direction.
Right.
And then I saw the Dragonite Mega Evolution and went, ooh, no, that ain't it.
Wait, you said you need it or you don't, or you hate it?
I hate it. That's a bad design.
The reactions to the mega designs are so polarizing, because I know people that's like their least favorite design they've ever seen, and people that are like, that's the best design in the game.
It's wild. Look, here's the thing, as I totally understand that it's the same thing that I had to go through when people were like, oh man, the FNAF movie is peak. It's the best movie.
To be fair, I don't have any stake in the Dragonite, in the Mega Dragonite. I don't really care about that. Fair. But I do feel like out of spite, for my whole thing was, I hope that every Mega Evolution before they actually release this game is goofy. Like they got a goofy Mega Evolution for all of them, and then when the game comes out, they got the ones that are cool or whatever. But they didn't do that. They ended up doing ones that were like more conventionally like, this is a cool Pokemon.
Yeah, some are cool. Some were Greninja turned into a helicopter.
Yeah.
It's just some weird choices where I'm like, I get what you're going for, but why?
So that's the other thing about it to me. With Pokemon designs, I had this whole like, not full circle moment, but like I appreciate Pokemon designs more than I think a lot of people do, just based off of like the inspiration behind them. Like I might not aesthetically like a thing, but if the reason why they made it feels intentional and like well sourced, I'm down. I'm down for it. Like if it's like, oh well, this was based on the customs of the region, and this animal's popular there, and they look like this because of this reason, and they're this type because of this. I'm here for it. I'm down. I love that Pokemon now. But there's other ones where it's like they didn't really do that, or I don't really care about the inspiration.
Well, I felt like sort of the recent games with some of the new additions to Pokemon. Like, granted, I don't know all of them, but a significant amount, I was like, oh, that's a pretty good design. Like, I think there's a lot that goes for it, and I do like how they build things for the region and the climate and the environment. They do that really well.
And the thing that's funny about it is like, it became more popular with like, oh, the ice cream Pokemon. I hate that. LOL. It became more popular for them to, it was more common for them to like really deep dive in the inspiration of a Pokemon around that time. Like back in Gen 1, it was like, we're in a monster collecting game. They're animals. This one's bird. This one's snake. This one's group of eggs. Like
this dragon.
Yeah. Like, but once you get into like Gen 3, Gen 4, they're like, all right, we got to get a little bit deeper than that. We got to like, we can't just do, is this animal? And that's it. Yeah. And
Well, and that's what I've always liked about the regional specific Pokemon, or like the variants,
yeah,
not the region specific.
like
The variants, I
Alolan
think, are
Sand Slash and all that.
yeah, like that stuff was really interesting because, like, oh, it is that specific species, but they adapted to their new environment. That's cool. That's neat. Like the Meowth, the fact that they brought them over to deal with a Rattata problem, and then like it was an invasive species, and now it's adapted into this whole new thing. It's like, oh, that's great. That's great world building.
Also accurate, because cats are terrible. Like, as far as invasive species are concerned, I'm just saying, look up the stats, man.
They're right. I'm looking at them right now.
Don't let that cat outside, because they kill billions of birds per year. But yeah, that's what it is. It's like, they're invasive species. And
don't talk ill about my children.
It's just true, man. They're not supposed to be outside. Keep them in the house.
They are in the house. They stay in the house,
which is good. If you got a cat, keep it in the house. But that cat wasn't left in the house, and that's why I was able to become the mangy thing that it is in the video game. That, I mean, it is. It's mangy.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong, but damn, dude.
It's just true, man. It's just true.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
But you know, I'll be able to give full thoughts next week, because obviously the game's not out at the time of recording. I'm going to play the game tomorrow at 7 a.m. It's Tuesday right now. But I haven't played it, so I can't really speak to how good or bad it is. But I am encouraged by the people that say it's good, and for the reasons that they say it's good, and even the people that say it's bad and the reasons why they say it's bad.
And I will be sitting here waiting for a full report.
I don't think you should buy this game.
I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend, and it's for the reasons that, like, because it's still a Legends game. And at the end of the day, I didn't want them to make them for a reason. You know, like, they still have that asterisk of, like, it's smaller because it's a spinoff. Like, they still do have that. If I were to recommend you to get anything, and this is when the people that are super sensitive about spoilers jump ship, I want you to bear in mind that I too care about, like, design spoilers and, like, all that other kind of crap. I wouldn't tell you, like, the starters are this and all that other stuff. It's more so, like, about the design philosophy behind the game, and, like, really just stuff that I've been saying for literal years, but it's now backed up by Game Freak themselves saying that they want to do it now, which is the main reason why I want to talk about it, because for literal years I'm like, yo, do this, and now in these design documents and stuff, they're like, yo, we're planning on doing this. and encouraging, to say the least.
Okay,
so there was a big freaking Pokemon leak, and before that, hold on, let's talk about this. I don't really know if anything's going to go from this. Nintendo got hacked, apparently, but we don't know.
Right.
Nothing came of it yet. They're just posturing like, yo, we hacked you, we might do something. So I don't know what else there is to say about that.
Reveal every Star Fox game that got canceled.
You said reveal every Star Fox game that got canceled?
Yeah.
I bet that there's at least one per generation, at least.
At least. You know, there was something canceled for the Switch.
Because Star Fox is like Pikmin, where, like, even if it's not as successful as it used to be, which, I mean, Pikmin was never as successful as Star Fox. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things. It's still Miyamoto's baby, so they're still thinking about it. At the very least, he's like, yo, we should do this. And they're like, all right, fine, because you're Miyamoto, sure.
Yeah, all right, fine.
But at the end of the day, it probably got canceled. So yeah, I would be interested in seeing that. But at the same time, ultimately, I do want to give the disclaimer: hacks suck, because, like, these are people that work there and their personal information's at risk, and, you know, working on these projects for so long and all that kind of stuff. That sucks. Leaks are bad. But the information's out there in this regard. And like I said, I don't want to talk about it in great detail. I'm not showing anything. I'm not showing any designs or nothing like that. I'm just talking in broad strokes. And I do also want to say, for Pokemon specifically, the leaks that happened, they are, I think, from 2020. Like, I think that all these documents are from 2020. So none of it
Wow.
aged great. You know, I mean, well, I don't want to say
Yeah.
none of it did. A lot of the stuff that they said they want to do, they ended up doing. But a lot of the stuff that they said they want to do, they ended up not doing. Or it changed in one way or another. Like, for instance, one example is Legends ZA was initially supposed to be a Legends game that was based in the Johto region. And it was supposed to have two versions. It was supposed to be Legends Ho-Oh and Lugia. But then they ended
Right.
up scrapping that and we got Legends ZA. So I would expect that to also be the case with a lot of this stuff. I think most of the things that I am interested in about this probably won't change. And if it does, it'll evolve in some way, or it'll just be like punted into the next project, if that makes sense. Where it's like they initially plan where it's like, oh, we want to make a MMO or whatever, right? The infancy of that idea will find itself one way or another in something eventually, you know.
Sure.
Rather than them all out like outright canceling the thing. And also, I think that a lot of the things that ended up getting changed, and for what it's worth, this is just speculation. All of this is speculation. But I think a lot of the things that they did change, they changed in response to what ended up happening when they did the thing. You know, when Arceus came out, they're like, oh, shoot, okay, things are different now, you know? So they changed their playing space off of that, which I think is a good thing. I say all that to say, I think that even if these things don't happen, they'll probably be replaced with something better.
Yeah, I mean, stuff is scrapped all the time, and pieces of that are moved on to different things. Hopefully for the better. So
exactly. I'm trying to like find another like place where a lot of this stuff is documented because people took tweets down. So
I'm processing everything that you sent me earlier.
Yeah, so hold on, I can send you the article that I'm looking at right now. I think I linked this one. It's the My Nintendo News one. It's Pokemon developer Game Freak's plans up to 2030 have been leaked. I think I linked that.
What one was it?
I'll link it again. Just
link it just one more time. Just one more time for me, if you would be so kind. Gotcha. You didn't give me this one. What the hell?
I did. I might have swapped it out when I saw it because it was like the tweets had more details, but they ended up or not more. It had it laid out better. I'll say.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that, and then I want to mostly talk about the Gen 10 specific stuff, but we can talk about the gist of like what their 10-year or the until 2030 plans are. So the rumor is we're supposed to get Gen 10 in 2026. I'll talk more details on that game in a little bit. 2027, we're supposed to get Legends Galar, which is the Pokemon Sword and Shield region. 2029, we're supposed to get codename. It's a codename game Seed. It's a new RPG that's remakes of Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh all in one game. And that's also supposed to be like an MMO RPG kind of situation. And then in 2030 is a Gen 11 game.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk. You seem particularly interested in the
well, here's the thing is like, because I saw that as some of this information as I was scrolling through, and the idea of being able to go to different regions is an incredibly interesting concept.
I agree.
And I think, to be fair, you're a 10-year-old or like 10 to 13. Like the age range feels a little different now. Yeah, you're a kid, obviously going to completely different regions. Just it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I remember like playing Fire Red and being able to go
to the Savvy Islands.
Afterwards was so cool. Like it seems weird to be region locked sometimes.
Yeah. Like that was I mean that was the coolest, like that was the dream Pokemon thing ever since Silver and Gold, whereas like you can go to Johto and Kanto. Isn't that cool? And in hindsight it's like it's a truncated Kanto. So it's not as cool as it could have been. but the idea is still there. And it's like, I think a lot of people, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, their fandom in one way or another is tethered to the anime. And that is such a core theme in the anime where it's like, all right, I'm done with my journey here. Next thing, I'll go to the next region and I could bring my Pokemon in and out of here. Maybe you'll see Charizard again. Maybe I won't bring them to the Pokemon. That's a big thing in the Pokemon anime, but it's not in the games. It is in a roundabout kind of way now that we have Pokemon Home, but even there, it's not really a thing because they bar you from using Pokemon Home for like the first couple months of a game's release usually.
And then even if you were to use Pokemon Home, like, your Pokemon are not going to listen to you.
Yeah, you don't want to bring a level 100
right
freaking Charizard or whatever to your video game.
Yeah, so by the time you want to use them, you're already on your way to champion. You're in the end game.
Yeah, exactly. That's a battle system problem. I contend. I think if it's an action game, you don't have that problem. But
fair enough.
But yeah, no, I think the most exciting thing, because we don't really know anything about like the style of this game. We don't know if it's like their concept art tells me that it's probably more in the vein of like the recent games that they're doing. I don't think it's going to be like a BDSP kind of situation. I think that it just straight up will be whatever Gen 10 looks like, but remade Hoenn, Sinnoh, Kanto sort of situation. But the intriguing thing to me is the way that this is laid out. Looks like they just want to complete Pokemon Japan. And Pokemon Japan, if we're talking about all of the lore and all of the games, that potentially means that we're going to have Sevi Islands in the game. That I think they specifically mentioned Kitakami, which is a newer thing in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. It could mean the Orange Islands if we expand it out to all the lore. That's a pretty big deal. That would be pretty sick.
That's a pretty big deal. Pretty big game.
There's a lot of gyms and all that stuff. And something that I've always wanted is I wanted them to do like a kind of Pokemon mystery dungeon sort of situation where like when you first start the game, you take a quiz and that quiz decides like what region you're born in. Maybe even if they want to like deep dive, like what town you're born in, and then that could change like what starters you're given the choice to do. Like it could even be like if they go full anime kind of lore, there's like towns in Johto where like this is like one example that I know for sure. There's other examples of this with different Pokemon, but there's a town in Johto where their only starter Pokemon is Stantler because like there's so many ghost Pokemon in the area, or I think it's specifically there's Ghastlies and Haunters and stuff. So they need a Stantler to protect them from all the Ghastlies because they're immune to ghost type attacks, but they're super effective with their psychic moves because Ghastly is poison. I think it would be so sick to like be able to have that variance and experience where I could be playing the game and I'm like, yeah, I was born in Alola and I picked this Pokemon, and then somebody's like, I was freaking born in Saffron and I had to get you know what I mean? Like I had to get an Abra.
I was stuck with this guy.
Like I think it'd be so cool.
I do like the idea of being able to start in any region and then picking picking starters based off that. That idea is really cool. Will they do that is the question.
I think, and I don't want to get too deep into this aspect of it, but I do want to like talk about it a little bit. But there are some internal like discussions and like things in that regard that we know. And it sounds like there was a certain point where people within Game Freak got fed up with how the company is structured. They're like, this person has too much power. I'm not jacking it. And then they got ousted from being game director. And then the same thing happened with the next game director. And they're like, we are not with this. And then from there now, and the thing is like, again, all this grain of salt, we don't know for sure. It got leaked. Things could have changed, blah, blah, blah. But anecdotally, they've been shifting game directors way more than they have historically in recent years.
That's never a great sign.
So, no, in this regard, it is. Because the thing about Pokemon, yes, because in Pokemon, they just rest on their they rested on their laurels too much. They're like, this is a successful thing. We don't want to change what made us successful. So we're just going to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And that allowed them to stagnate. In this
Yeah.
regard, it's the younger staff that have joined the company in recent years, and a lot of these people are coming from like all over the industry. Like they have experience, but their experience isn't like, well, we work for Game Freak all our life. Like a lot of these people are coming from like Square Enix and like other companies within Japan, and they have different influences. Like I think the director that's supposed to be working on one of these games in this document, they their influence is like Xenoblade. Like they want the game to be like Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
yeah.
and that's something I've been saying for a long time. Like if it's got to be an RPG, make it something like that. Make it Xenoblade, make it Kingdom Hearts, make it, that kind of thing. The turn-based thing, it's not 1996 anymore. We're good off that.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a good thing in this regard because it's new blood. It's like people with new perspectives that grew up their whole lives playing Pokemon games and other games to form what they value in game design. Whereas like within Game Freak and with the structure that they had before, it's this echo chamber of the people in charge being like, well, this is what I think makes a good game, and you're just remaking that vision over and over and over again. You don't get the new perspectives that come with like cycling through and introducing new people to higher levels of authority within the company. So
right
in this regard, I am down. This kind of thing is promising to me because it's the kind of thing that I've been saying should be happening. And like, I didn't know that this was happening. I didn't know that that's how they felt and how people within the company feel that way. I just know from like, as a consumer, I can see it. I can see that there, like somebody within the company is like, I refuse to change this. I think that it should always be this and this is it. And then there's a certain point where there's a little shift and then it starts to change, but it's changing at a rate that isn't good enough for where they're at. And I think that the newer people want it to change at a faster rate to be on the level that most people looking at it, whether they're Pokemon fans or like hardcore Pokemon fans or not, look at it and they say this shouldn't look like this. Like you look at Pokemon, a game that came out in 1996, and then you look at, Zelda's 10 years older, but you look at Zelda Breath of the Wild and you're like, what the heck? Like, how are these on the same thing? Like y'all are on the same platform. How did that happen? And it sounds like a lot of people in Game Freak feel that way. They're like, what are we doing? What's going on here? I say all of that to say, Gen 10 specifically, it looks like they are cooking, and I am down. I want this video game. This video game looks like my dream Pokemon game in a lot of different ways.
I'm looking at the screenshots here, and the one that with the orange header. I know that does not help the audience at all, but it helps you and me identify it. Yeah. That screenshot on the left is beautiful.
And that is like, the thing is like, this is the worst a video game will look. Like this is pre-shaders and lighting and all the other kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if you ever seen like Breath of the Wild before they put cell shading on the game. That looks like Pokemon games look now, right? Yeah. And that's what this looks like. And this even looks like, this is like beta footage even relative to like what ZA looks like, So like they're going to do more with it. I don't know if they're going to do as much with it as I think they should, because if it's up to me, I'm cell shading everything. I think the worst thing that Pokemon does, I think the difference between with Scarlet and Violet looks like, performance notwithstanding, is all down to lighting and shading. It's entirely down to that. If they shaded that game differently and the lighting was better, people would say that game's gorgeous. But they just kind of left it as Breath of the Wild beta. And that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, you can't let it with textures, like if you're not going to have super detailed textures, you need to be hiding them with other pieces. Yeah. Like I remember like the discourse on the trees and everything. I'm like, they're trees. This is more of it. The lighting was a little different because there are plenty of games where if you actually stop and look at the textures are not always that great, but because it's lit and it uses shaders in an effective way, everything looks more natural and realistic.
Right. Exactly.
And so this feels better. The thing I like most is that it feels like just out of a single screenshot, that looks alive.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen like Scarlet and Violet and gone like, this feels
like they just took
dead.
some toys and scattered them on the floor and were like, all right.
Yeah, it never felt this is the one thing that always kind of like trips me up, and you probably know a bit more because you are a bit more in the weeds when it comes to Pokemon. But like, I look at something like Mario Galaxy and the incredible work that they did with, at the time, one of the like lowest powered machines on the market. It looks like it's stunning from start to finish. And then, you fast forward, Odyssey looks great. And then you look at Pokemon, you're like, what communication was not happening, or what sources weren't being shared for you guys to like help achieve the same feeling?
I don't think they were talking to them at all. They weren't talking to them even a little bit.
That's always been the confusing thing to me, is for something that is like, it is Game Freak, but it is a Nintendo property. It doesn't feel like those departments really talk or help each other, which feels so bizarre to me.
I think that all of that is owed to that leadership in hindsight. Like, I didn't know that for sure then, but now I'm pretty sure that there's somebody or people within the company that think their shit don't stink, and it shows in the game development, whereas now it's very clear that they have a lot of people that are fans of video games, and they're like, yo, we want our video game to be as cool as the video games that made us fans of video games. And that is really all Pokemon needed, I think. I still think that, like, as far as like execution, they're not the greatest. And that's why I hope that, like, if this is a game that like they're going to make and they're committed to, and they've restructured properly, they take a lot of time or they get a lot of help. Because like, without me knowing like how they've grown since then, and like how they plan to facilitate these new visions, I just wanted them to give it to Bandai Namco. I wanted Game Freak to like come up with design docs of like, yo, this is like what the new region should be, and like what the designs of the Pokemon are, and the themes and the characters and all this. I think Game Freak is phenomenal at all of that. But making the actual video game, they're not great. They're not good. They need somebody else to do that part, or needed. Again, I don't know what the state of them is.
Pokemon games should feel like they have the highest potential to have such a beautiful, vibrant, alive environment. And I know I'm harping on environment, but I think that's really the biggest thing that hurts Pokemon is like there's the battle system. Okay. But there's just like
part of the environment, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I look at that screenshot and I'm like, that's a forest. That's somewhere that I want to explore and find new creatures in. I don't want to just go find, all right, there's deep grass. I know that the Pokemon are going to be over there.
Right.
And like Arceus kind of started like tilting towards that, like letting it like, them being out and about and doing stuff. But like, it needed more, and it needed more. It needed
to be less flat than it is, because this is something I made a video around that time where I was like, I think it's stupid that they're like, some Pokemon are aggressive. Shinx, if you find a Shinx, those are going to be aggressive. What it should have been, because they literally have this system in the video game, is, this Pokemon has a rash nature, so it's going to run at you. Like this Pokemon, it's timid, it'll run away. They have that, but the way that they decided to be like, this Pokemon's aggressive, this one's not, is like down to the species, and that I think is stupid.
Yeah.
And they could even like, they could have higher fidelity than that. They could be like, okay, well, this species is more likely to have these natures. Like, it could in theory have any of the natures, because competitively they use the natures in various ways.
Yeah.
But they could still, because you can change your natures in different ways and blah, blah, blah in the game already. So they could just be like, okay, well, if we want to make it so that most Shinx are aggressive, we give them more aggressive natures more often. But they shouldn't all be pre-programmed to be like, every Pokemon in this species is this way. Because that doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel, and I don't mean real in the way that like not realism, that kind of thing, but it doesn't feel like accurate to the world that they themselves is trying to build.
Yeah, they establish a set of rules, and it doesn't feel like they're following their own rules.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's never what you want to see. That you don't want to see that you conflicting with your own rules. It never works.
And there's stuff like, so I don't know if you looked at the like deep dive into Gen 10 specifically that I linked. But like they said the theme of the game, and this is something I touched on earlier that I said I would get back to. The theme of the game is infinity. So this game sounds like their goal is like, they want it to be a game that you could in theory just keep playing. Like there's procedurally generated islands. There's a Pokemon that you're supposed, a seed Pokemon, I think it's called. Seed Pokemon. I thought they didn't specify that it's a Pokemon or not, because Ultra Beasts are technically not a Pokemon and all that kind of crap. But there's a Pokemon that you get that changes differently based on how you raise it, essentially. Like, it turns into something different based on how you raise it. A lot of the elements of the game seem to be procedurally generated in one way or another. And I think that it's promising, because again, I think that Pokemon is like the kind of game that, like, just based off of all the media that they do that is not the video games, it's supposed to be this living, breathing world that's not, 10-year-old, your whole life is like, you get this Pokemon, you get these badges, you beat the evil team, and then you're the champion, and do it all over again by restarting your save file. It's like, hey kid, you get this Pokemon, and then you go on infinite journeys with that Pokemon. What is ahead of you is up to you, that kind of thing. And I think that something like this better facilitates that. I think that Pokemon, like at its best, and I don't just mean the games. Again, I mean the media, like all the media across whatever medium you want to give it, is a slice of life kind of thing. Its value is in the fact that there's Professor Oak, and there's Officer Jenny, and there's Ash, and there's Brock, and there's so many different types of people in this world that engage with Pokemon in different ways, and we only really get to engage with them in one. And I think that flattens the potential of the game. And also, I think that the way that you engage with the Pokemon, like something else that they say later in this document, is that like every Pokemon can be like ridden or touched. Like, you could pet your Pokemon, you could fly on Pokemon, you could dive on a Pokemon, you could like all that kind of stuff. You can explore underwater now. I wish I still had the tweet. I gotta try to see if I can find it and send it to you later, but they also are apparently working on a new engine for this game. I have never personally heard them specifically talk about an engine, even in like behind the scenes stuff that I've seen. Like, obviously they have engines and stuff like that, but they like named this engine, and they're running like tests and how like different Pokemon, like how Pokemon collide with like different terrains and what the water looks like and all that kind of stuff. It seems like they're putting a lot of work into this new iteration of what Pokemon is going to be. And
as long as they can keep it up, all of this sounds great. Right. It makes me nervous that it's like, okay, this sounds good. What's going to get cut? Yeah,
I agree. But I think for me, it's promising, because usually that's not what their messaging is. Usually their messaging is like, we got it. I'm scared that we might scare people, like, we don't want to change it too much. We got to change something, but we don't want to change it too much. This does not sound like that same company. That's like, we don't want to change it too much. This sounds like blow it all up, do something different.
Yeah, no, you can see it, and you can, like, reading the stock, the whole idea of like the whole idea of infinity is fascinating to me. I would be nervous about how much of that they could pull it off. I think procedurally generated stuff is, at this point in time in where gaming is much easier to do.
Right.
So I see
Hello Games already bit
that
that bullet. They already went through the worst of it.
Yeah, Hello Games, they went through all of the hell and came out the other side and said, guys, I think we have it figured out.
Exactly. So that I can only hope. I don't know, man. I think that, me personally, I think that, so the thing is, I've been bracing for this for years. Like, I've been bracing for Scarlet and Violet specifically for years. Like, that game is something that I knew was going to happen. I knew that they were going to come to a point where, like, and I think that it happened for a different reason than I expected. Like, I didn't expect it to be them kind of biting off more than they could chew, and that was a problem. I thought that they were just going to, like, make a thing that made it very clear that what they make is not good enough to people. And it was a combination of both of those things. And Sword and Shield was really the thing that I thought was going to end up happening, and that was going to have to, like, force them to change. Because Sword and Shield is really just a 3DS game, but on Nintendo Switch. That's what Sword and Shield is. And Scarlet and Violet is them trying to make a better thing, but they're just not good enough to make that better thing. So they fell flat on their face.
I think Sword and Shield was the sign for people like me that don't consume a ton of Pokemon, for all of us to go, something doesn't feel right. It's the first like crack in the armor that, like, an average person would go, like, hold up,
right,
something's not working here.
That, you know what, and that
Scarlet
was for me,
just confirmed it.
Pokemon X and Y was that for me. Pokemon X and Y was the first time that it clicked in my head that I'm like, this is not good enough. It's not. Because Pokemon, like, the fidelity of the experience and, like, what is possible on 3DS. This is my most recent video, is kind of talking about this, where, like, the expectations of the platform kind of informs what your game should be doing. And on 3DS, it was kind of just GameCube, but handheld. On Nintendo DS, it's kind of just like elevated Game Boy Advance, and, like, you can kind of still get away with traditional Pokemon experience on elevated Game Boy Advance. Once you're on GameCube, you can't, like, you know, freaking Wind Waker was on GameCube. If you're not at least that, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? And even Pokemon on GameCube, it kind of got away with it because it was like they're drip feeding the things that people want. And they're like, oh man, I always wanted a Pokemon game that, like, was that looks like this. That's Pokemon Stadium. I love that there's finally a 3D Pokemon game, right? And then Pokemon Coliseum and XD, they come out and it's like, oh, there's a 3D Pokemon game, and also it's kind of like an RPG, like what's on the handhelds. You know, that's them drip feeding it again. And the handheld games was the inverse of that, where it's like it's this big game relative to what expectations were at the time, and you could do all these different things, and, like, there's so many different layers to it and stuff like that, but it doesn't look anywhere near as good as what's possible on other platforms. Right now you're on a platform where the expectations are both of those things all at once, and they came to the party with the same thing that they always bring, and it wasn't enough. They needed to do what Zelda did, because Zelda evolved in parallel with them, but they're evolving on handheld and on console, so they know what the expectation is. So when they come to this handheld that's capable of home console experiences, they showed improved, and they did a very good job. Pokemon, on the other hand, they didn't. They thought that it was going to be enough to just do the thing that they've always done. And in a lot of ways it was, like, commercially it was, like, they're selling better than they've ever sold before, but critically and fan reception wise, it very much so is not. And I brought up this before about the, like, westernized view of, like, how companies work. A lot of people have, like, the way they talk about Pokemon is like, you got to stop buying the games, because if we keep buying the games, they're not going to change. And that's just not how their motivation works. And again, this underscores that to me. This to me says this is a company that's hungry. They want to look They want to look good. You know, they want to stand shoulder to shoulder with Nintendo's biggest IP and look like that. They want the Game of the Year nomination. Whether or not they're capable of getting it has yet to be seen. We don't know that yet. But
I mean, at least it seems like now.
Yeah,
for sure that they're the change in design philosophy is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to Pokemon.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, if Gen 10 came out and it was the same thing again, it would fall apart so fast.
Yeah, it would do the same thing that the other games did. And this is why I hate that fan made theory of like, stop buying the games because they'll do the thing that we want if we do that. They got more safe when their sales failed. And the loudest Pokemon fans, the ones that are like happy with the franchise, or at least were up until Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they're the reason why the games are designed in the way that they are now. Is because they're the ones that's like, well, just give me the same thing, but a little better next time. You can't design games like that for 25 years and turn on a dime and completely reinvent the way that you look at the game. You know? Yeah,
I think, and here's the thing is like the whole vote with your dollar thing in philosophy, like you're saying, it should be what does it, but it's hard to read when like
it's a Western
sales
thing.
drop.
It's a Western thing. If it's a Western thing, like
it is a very Western thing.
If Apple saw that this iPhone sold friggin' 20 million less units, they're like, oh man, we got to invest more money and make this better. If Pokemon Company sees that their video game sold 10 million less units, they're going to be like, okay, we got to go back to the time where we made the thing that sold 10 million more. They're not like, we need to improve on this thing. They're like, we need to cycle back. We need to go backwards.
It's very dependent on the leadership and the culture, because there is a lot of like, you know, take YouTube videos for an example. Right. Is like, if we see a video doesn't do well, we go back to what worked.
I don't do that ever.
That's all right. Well, I guess except AJ.
I'm just saying. No, genuinely, me, I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Sure, that's fine. But like a majority of the major YouTube companies, especially the ones I've worked for,
right.
You know, we'll experiment a little bit, and if it doesn't tend to work, we need to fall back to something that does work, and that's kind of like the general philosophy behind what we do. If you want innovation, it's harder, right? It's harder to do that. You need someone within the company to go, we need to innovate.
Yeah.
Because it will make us, like, you know, to the people that don't talk creative, is like, we need to innovate because we will make more money. And that conversation doesn't always work.
That's where
just simply doesn't.
I just wanted to specify that's where my head usually is. I want to innovate. I want to make a new thing. Like, because the circumstances that made that old thing work are not guaranteed to work again. So for me, it's usually like, well, obviously there's aspects of the thing that used to work that brought people here, but making that same exact thing again is not going to keep them here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. And like, but not inherently is the problem, is that most people, that there are a good chunk of people that don't think like that. They think like, this works, I'm just going to keep hammering it because, you know, it's working and we're bringing in money. And so when you have a big string of everything's just successful, it's hard to go, hey man, we need to start innovating because
different this time.
We have to start doing things differently, or it's going to bite them in the ass. They're like, well, I mean, last time,
right?
I mean, we did this, and that's a hard part, and that's where like voting with your wallet can work, but it could also have the adverse effect. And really, I hate to say it, you just have to depend on someone in the company standing up and speaking up and making those changes.
You also got to read the room. Like,
read the room.
Like, does that company historically respond to that sort of thing? And I can say Pokemon does not. Like they just don't. The thing that influences them is their peers. That's what they care about.
Yeah.
And I mean, it took Breath of the Wild to do it. And for what it's worth, I mean, it's kind of the same. Like it is in a way like profit motive. It's the fact that before, like they were obviously influenced by things, and those things were like less successful than them. So like they didn't feel as urgent. I mean, they didn't feel it was as urgent to evolve at the same pace, right? Like the thing that brought them in the game was Dragon Quest, them doing their whole monsters thing, right? And then Dragon Quest looks entirely different than it did then, but Pokemon doesn't look anywhere near as different as Dragon Quest does compared to where it was when Pokemon started, right? But they didn't feel the need to, because they instantly became more successful than Dragon Quest ever has been and probably ever will be. So they're like, well, why do we need to change when what we're doing is working better than what they've ever done, right? But now they have Breath of the Wild, which sold more than them this time. So they're like, oh man, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I also think to a degree, you know, Pal World at least disrupted things enough for them to
if we're to believe this document, this started before we knew Pal World existed.
True.
So I don't think Pal World really has anything to do with it personally.
I think there's got to be a little bit. The fact that they didn't do it, they kind of just let it be and then decided to finally take legal action on it.
I think that's why they took legal action, is because they had this in the works. Usually when Nintendo specifically takes legal action on something, it's because they're working on something that has to do with the thing. Like they're going to go after the thing, like with Metroid, another Metroid 2 remake or whatever. When they made that game, a couple months later, they revealed Metroid 2 Returns. I mean, Samus Returns on the 3DS. That game didn't take them a couple months. They've been working on that for years. So like that's just how they operate. But Mario Maker, you know, like they did the freaking Mario thing. People were doing like the Creative Mario situation there. They started stepping on those because they were working on Mario Maker. That's just how they work. And also, for what it's worth, that's how copyright law works. It's like if you don't fight stuff like that when there's direct copies of your thing and somebody directly copies your thing that you don't want to copy your thing, they point at the thing and they're like, well, you didn't fight them and they copied you first. You know.
Oh yeah, the precedent has a lot of things going on, right?
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I think that this was in the works for them before him, but I do agree with you. I think if anything, Power World's success is just confirmation that they're headed in the right place. Like, if Power World did anything, I think Power World would be responsible for like Legends, Lugia, and Ho-Oh not happening. Where they're like, oh, wait, okay, people don't want this insular, singular player thing. They want like multiplayer experiences.
Yeah.
Because like most of the stuff that's in this document has MMO somewhere on it. You know, like.
Oh, yeah. Like everything in here has some sort of way that you engage with your friends, which I think is incredibly important for Pokemon moving forward.
Yes.
Like that's got to be in there. And I think the DLC for Sword and Shield with the like raid gauntlet thing.
We literally play that to this very day, and we're playing it hopefully for the last time ever.
And I think that speaks a lot of how well that worked.
But yeah, to me, like that again has been another like big disconnect between me and the like vocal Pokemon community, at least, where a lot of them they're like very, you know, introverted. This is a single player RPG for them. They don't want, like, so much of the Pokemon Reddit, for example, is like the Legends EA Reddit is them complaining about the fact that you have to trade Pokemon to evolve them now. Whereas like in Arceus, they had an item where you could evolve the trait evolutions within the game, but they took it out. So now they're like, well, I gotta trade with people now. And it's like, you gotta freaking like engage with your friends now. Oh no.
Everything's terrible. It's all falling apart.
Whereas me, I have literally never played a Pokemon game without my friends and or family. You know, that's always been how I played the game. Every single time. The ritual is I get the video game, and the ritual has changed a little bit because of YouTube, where now it's a lot of like creator friends and like people in the community that I play the game with.
Yeah.
But before it was like me and my brother, we get the game, we spend the first like 4 hours trading each other, so we get all the starters, and we're like talking about our journey and being like, yo, did you beat the first gym battle? I beat the first gym battle. Oh, let's battle now. Let's do like a checkpoint battle, and we'll do that. Like it's always been a social experience for me. And
yeah,
it's very clear that that's what they intended. Like if you look at all the marketing for Pokemon, regardless of the region, it's supposed to be this social experience. And
here's the thing I'll say is I think there's a way to have both worlds.
Well, yeah, because they did, you know, like even though that was the intent for, it's kind of what I was saying before about the casual gaming for like esport, like casual games turning into esports, where like, if you water the plant that is the social gaming thing, the single player thing's easy. That's the easiest part to get right because people were playing it like it was a single player game, despite the fact that it literally never has been. You know what I mean? Whereas if you do the Arceus thing, where it's literally impossible to play the game with your friends outside of trading, which is not it's not required in the same way. So people don't do it as much. And
it's less important.
Yeah. And on top of that, there's no active multiplayer at all. Whereas in this game, at least you have the battle royal mode and stuff like that, right? So like, that's what it is. It's like a lot of the single player RPG fans are like, man, they need to get rid of like the battles, like the competitive battle aspect of Pokemon, because that can make the single player experience better. And it's like, nah, it'll just make the game overall less valuable, because when you add a robust multiplayer like experience to a video game, you inherently widen the audience, the potential audience for the thing.
Yeah, well, and like, it's not like it's going to a multiplayer only experience. There's plenty of ways where there are games that have a robust single player that functions well, or even like
you can play Destiny by yourself.
You can play Destiny, but you could, like, I can do Monster Wild.
Yeah, you can play Monster Hunter Wilds by yourself, right?
I could do it. It gives me the tools I need to still feel like I'm having a multiplayer experience, still fight the monsters, still get my rewards, and that's fine. But if that's how you want to play, that doesn't mean everyone wants to play that way.
Yes.
And a lot of people love that multiplayer aspect, and there's no reason not to have both functioning well. And removing one does not make the other one better. Just simply does not.
Right. If anything, I'd argue, especially with Pokemon, the multiplayer makes the single player better, and it always has. Like whatever
I think it's what's been keeping
depth got
Pokemon alive.
Yeah, whatever depth got added to the single player experience is a direct result of them trying to add depth to VGC. It's because they were like, man, how are we going to make this interesting for people that are watching our esport? And then they put that in the game, and then it made the single player experience more interesting and or challenging.
Yeah. I mean, look, Overwatch 2 is a great example. There was going to be a single player experience. They scrapped it because they wanted to focus on the multiplayer.
Yep.
And it suffered.
Yeah.
And like its player base dipped really hard. And then when Marvel Rivals came out, it dipped even further. Like, removing one aspect does not make the other better.
Right. Exactly. And
they need to work in conjunction.
So there's another aspect of this that I wanted to touch on. I remember some of the numbers, but they had like budgets in here, and there's a lot of discourse around the budget, because like the budget for ZA is $14 million. They said that's the budget for the game. And then the budget for Gen 10 is supposed to be, I think, $20 million. And people are like, this isn't enough. How are you going to make a good game for this much money? But we don't know what that actually means. You know, like we don't know what that budget is for.
Yeah, dude, I don't speak budget. So like, as far as I can tell, 20,000 is 6, or 20 million is 6 million more than 14 million.
So. Yeah, exactly. Like we don't know how much they paid to make your favorite Pokemon game, you know? So like it could very well be people being like, yo, my favorite, they need to go back to freaking Gen 3 and make Pokemon Emerald again. That game could have cost $2 million for all we know. We don't know how much the game cost.
Even with inflation, maybe it only gets up to like 10 million. All right. So then that means double the budget.
Right. Exactly. And like there's different shortcuts to do certain things. Like a $20 million game, it really just depends on the studio. And because they are a standing studio with staff, like you can't even really quantify it in that kind of way. Like I would assume, like if I'm in a company like that and I do a design doc and I say I think the game's going to cost this much, it's an additional resources. It's not factoring in like the salaries of all the people that are going to do the thing. It's like, well, we need to buy this new technology. We need to license these new things. We need to do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's not going to be like, we need 1,000 people to work on this video game. So we need 1,000 people's salaries.
I mean, I just wouldn't know unless I was internal and knew how they structure their budgets. Yeah. Because like some budgets include the salaries and everything, and that's how they do stuff. But then there's other budgets that are just like, hey, these are additional resources. Go. And it's hard to tell. So
and like so the thing that a lot of people bring up and they say about like Breath of the Wild, when Nintendo was talking about that game and their expectations for it before it came out, they said that their break-even point was 2 million units sold. So with that number, the $120 million budget thing became the discourse. It's like Breath of the Wild costs $120 million. When they say break-even, they're not just talking about the game development budget. They're not saying that the game cost them $120 million. They're saying everything. They're saying the marketing. They're saying all that. And I guarantee you the marketing is at least half, if not more, than the for Pokemon, especially the cost of the video game. And I don't think that that's part of that pitch doc of them being like, yo, here's how much we think we need to spend on the Pokemon game. I don't think when they say that the video game is $14 million to make ZA, that is them factoring in how much the budget for the marketing is going to cost.
Yeah. I mean, it could, but I just don't know.
It could.
I just don't know how I don't know how they handle financials. I'm not a financial guy.
Right.
I just like to make the funny ha-has.
Yes.
And then find money in my wallet later. That's it. Yeah. So I think unless you know specifically how every budget is broken down, it's hard to tell if that's too little or too much or just enough. Right. Because and plus that's just a beginning budget. Especially creative works always go over budget. It's kind of expected. So it might be 20 million now. By the end, it could be 25. It could be 30.
Yeah, like this game, ZA specifically, it got delayed a year. Yeah. You don't think that changed the budget? Like
that absolutely changed the budget. It changes a lot.
Yeah, like, and that inherently pushed other things back. That's why I started this by being like, I don't think that any of this is going to happen exactly how they say it's going to happen. I think all of these games are going to be in development for much longer than they expected, which is probably a good thing, I want to say. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Who knows?
I mean, it comes down to the fact that like it's all of this is great and it's good to hear, but the document was from 2020. Things have already shifted pretty hard on that thing. Hopefully Gen 10 still follows a little bit of what they're saying, because I think that is the right route. But who knows what they're doing internally at this very moment.
Yeah. All I can speak to is the games that I'm playing, and that leads me to be more optimistic than not, personally, because the things that I'm seeing and the decisions that they're making after those things are the right ones. Like them making ZA after what happened with Scarlet and them delaying ZA after what happened with Scarlet tells me that their head's in the right place. because they didn't have to do that. Like, they could have been like, this game was meant to come out in 2024. It's coming out in 2024. And even Scarlet and Violet very clearly was delayed. And it's also a COVID game. I don't think enough people talk about that aspect of it. Or like Scarlet and Violet was developed with like during COVID, and not just Scarlet and Violet, but Arceus was also being developed at the same time. So that is another aspect of like why that game turned out the way that it did. But you know,
guys, turns out that a global wide pandemic really changes things.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Especially if you're Game Freak and you already do not make technically sound video games when there isn't a global pandemic. Like, it's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
But I'm down, man. I went to video game. If this game turns out even half as good as it sounds, I'm here for it. I just want a Pokemon game to come out and actually be worth a Game of the Year nomination. I think that would be sick.
I will be happy if a Pokemon game comes out and goes, hey, you should play this, Dan. I'll be like, all right.
I think that's the same thing.
I need them to reach out specifically to me.
I think that's the same thing. Because I think, like, for that to happen, it would need to be a game that's just good. Like, there's no additional incentive, because you're not, like, a Pokemon fan. So, like, there's no, like, convincing you with, like, yo, this is, like, you know, it improves this element of what you like about Pokemon. It's like, nah, like, if the game's good, the game's good. And I think that is what's going to make a Game of the Year level Pokemon game. And that's why I describe it like that.
Yeah, Sword and Shield was fine. But, like Fire Red was, like, the last one I played for a long time. I don't have a nostalgic piece to this. I need something that's really good. Mm-hmm. And Expedition 33 changed how I perceive turn-based games now. So it has to change. It has to change some way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I agree. I think that's it. I think we did the thing.
Yeah, we talked for like 2 hours.
We did it. We always do it.
Everybody, it's never short.
Everybody like, comment, subscribe, go to Dan's stuff, watch them. Whenever that Doom video comes out, watch it.
Watch it. It's going to be great. I promise.
It's going to be a good one.
And then in five more episodes of this podcast, I'll be back and I'll tell you, don't worry, guys, the Doom video's still coming.
And he's going to come back and he's going to be like, turns out I got Legends Z8. It's the best game I ever played. I'm a huge Pokemon fan.
Nope. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
No, that's not happening. But maybe Gen 10. Gen 10, I got faith that maybe I got Gen 10.
With this, I think Gen 10 might actually do it for me. We'll see.
If that game feels good to play and they do the MMO thing, I am forcing you and Bob to play that video game with me.
All right, that's fine.
But anyway, okay, goodbye. Ending the recording.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye-bye.